Hello there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, with you again today. Oh my gosh, 2 videos in one day. Can you believe it? Well, you probably can. Lindsay's feeling better. She's putting the videos up. We're going to do some playing with ink today, and the reason I want to play with ink is I have this gorgeous rubber stamp of a jellyfish from About Art Accents, and I'll be actually giving the stamp away on my blog tomorrow. That would be February 21st, 2014, I believe. So you'll want to check that out and subscribe over there if you want to. You don't have to sign up to win. Of course not. I don't make you do that. But that way you can have your chance to win this stamp and probably some others because they're awfully generous over at About Art Accents. I'm going to do a little resist stamping, and when I saw this stamp, this is one of the tailored expression stamps over at artneco.com, designed by the lovely and talented Heather Taylor. I just thought, wow, this would be so pretty if you did like a resist. And I didn't want to do an embossed resist. I wanted to do a more traditional, just ink resist. So what I'm using is a clear resist pad by Ranger, and I've got my stamp on a Rock-a-Block. I'm sorry, it's a Mega Mount. It's a curved block. It's the Mega Mount, and I'm gonna rock that across my paper, mainly because since it is a clear ink, it's hard to see where you've stamped, and maybe if I hold it to the light you can see that. See, barely see that there. Alright, so when you're doing just a resist, not an embossed resist, you need to make sure this is really dry before you ink over it. So what I'm going to do is hit it with my heat gun for a few seconds. I'll let the camera roll because I found that when I pause the camera when I'm heating something up, people often wonder how long I've heated it for, and I get a lot of questions about that, so I'm just going to be very careful. I don't want to overheat this paper because it's Kromecoat, which means it's a type of paper with a glossy surface, and it's a kind of a plastic surface, so I don't want to melt it. You could use Stampin' Up! Glossy, you can use Judykin's glossy cardstock. Kromecoat I get right from the copy shop. Alright, and I can actually kind of see that a little bit better now that I've heated it up. So that should do it. Now this isn't going to give you a, it's not going to give you as bold of a look as you would get if you were to clear emboss it and then go over it with the ink, but it just has a different sort of texture, a different sort of look. I'm using a Kaliedacolor pad. This is Berry Blaze. I just thought I wanted a little kind of fuchsia and pink and purple and vivid colors. So when you store it, make sure you have your pads like this, but then when you use it, you can slide it together to use with your brayer. And I've got some paper here, just some old letterhead to ink my brayer up with. So what I'm going to do, since my brayer is bigger then my stamp pad, I'm going to ink up 1/2, and I'm going to make sure I have it really good and inky. Maybe my ink pad could use a re-inking because I'm telling you, I've been using this for years and it is still going strong and I've never re-inked it, so it's probably due. These Kaliedacolor pads are really neat because you can use them like this to get like a rainbow effect, but if you slide them apart and you have like little alphabet stamps, like your scrapbook or something, you can do each color individually, which is neat. Just remember not to store it closed or your color will migrate. This is dye-based ink and it will want to migrate on you and contaminate the pad. Then you'll have more of a gradual rainbow instead of individual colors. And I like to get supplies that are versatile, and this is kind of like having 5 ink pads as well as having a rainbow ink pad. So I've bought the rainbow ink pads before in the past that did not have the dividers, it did not slide apart like that, and then all the colors kind of migrate over, and after a while you just kind of get mud. So alright, so my ink pads, my brayer's nice and inky. That little stain there is just from some old ink or paint or something that didn't get completely washed. And now I'm going to grab my thing here, my stamped image, and since my brayer's wide enough to go this way, I'm just going to roll over it in one direction. I'm going to go a couple times before I grab more ink. Now look at that. Oh, I don't even know if I'll need to grab more ink. Isn't that pretty? I just love, it's like a magic trick when the image kind of starts to reveal itself to you. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe I'll ink it up one more time. We'll get a nice dark image. I'm going to move that out of the way for a second. And I do have another brayer, another glossy cardstock technique to share with you because I'm just kind of in a playing mood today. I've had a little free time. I was able to shovel a little path out of my house. You ever watch like those sitcoms where, you know, the couple goes to the ski lodge for the weekend and they open the door to, you know, go outside and like there's snow all the way up to the top of the door? That's like what it's like at my house right now. We had a metal roof put on a couple winters ago, but we haven't had a lot of snow. And this week, oh my gosh, we've had 3 snowstorms. We've had probably 2 feet of snow. And I walked out yesterday and all the snow had slid off the metal roof, and my house had this huge snowbank all the way around it. It was hilarious. It was like one of those sitcom, you know, ski lodge things. It was crazy. So I was able to, it's like 45 degrees out today. I was able to make a little path out of the doorway. All right, look at that. That is just so pretty and vivid. And I do find that after you let your card sit a bit, it does, it kind of, the brayer kind of blends out a little bit. You can look at that. So then you want to let your ink dry, and then you just kind of buff over it with like a tissue. This is just a Kleenex. I don't know if it's dry enough. I don't want to, I think I'm going to let it wait. I think I'm going to let it sit for a little bit before I wipe over it, because I don't want to remove any of the ink off my background. I just want to take it off the foreground. But look at that. You could totally see the beautiful detail in that stamp. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I was thinking that would be really pretty on a like a scrapbook layout. So like maybe if you do Project Life, you could like cut your paper to the size of those pockets before you begin. The other technique I want to show you is an alcohol ink, a polished stone background, which is actually tip of the month over at Oriental Stamp Art. Hosted by the lovely Margot. So if you are looking for a fun technique to try, what you want to do is take a piece of glossy cardstock, and then, oh, I gotta grab my alcohol. Hold on a second. I'm back. I just put some alcohol in this little container because I also use it for soap making, for removing bubbles. So that's handy dandy for me. And I'm gonna grab this little. This is my Tim Holtz Fake-O blending tool. This is I took a baby block and I just stuck Velcro the hook side on each edge, and then I can just stick these right on here, and then I've got little pads for my inks. Isn't that clever? I think so. Velcro's cheap. Oh my gosh, I got some Velcro at Paper Mart. That is affordable. It's like $2 for it's crazy. It's unreal how cheap the Velcro is, and it works really good too. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a few drops of blue on this side, and I'm gonna leave my thing uncapped while I'm working. Gonna make sure you do cap it up when you're done or it'll dry out. But I'm gonna keep it uncapped while I'm working, and you'll see why in a minute. And I'm going to do this here. And there's different ways to do the polished stone technique. If this is the way that I've had the most luck with. And I'm just going to spritz my, that's kind of dirty. My paper got some crud on it. I'm going to spritz my paper with the rubbing alcohol, and then I'm just going to kind of dab. And having the alcohol on the paper makes it so you don't have to work too terribly quickly. And once you start going over places you've already inked, you get these cool, kind of cool effect. Let me know if anybody hears me jiggling right now. I was having this weird jiggling noise in my camera a while back, and I haven't heard it in a while. I don't know if I've just become immune to it. And see, now you start to get this really interesting kind of bloom going on. Let me zoom in a little bit there. All right. And let me put a little more ink on here. I'll try it with the applicator, then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with just the ink on its own. So that's kind of cool. And it's a little bit different. You're not going to get the same exact result every time, which I love that. Some people don't like that, but I really like that. And you can add some metallics in, but I wasn't really digging the metallics. So something else you could do is actually put drops directly from the, I'll get a little spritz there. Okay, that's not really part of the technique, but I just like to do that. Now look at that, you get some really cool kind of circles of color when you do it that way, when you have the wet paper like that. It's just kind of fun. Just play with it and see what you can come up with. This reminds me of like those stones, like crack-a-geode type things, and when you see like slices of the stones. That's what it reminds me of. It also kind of reminds me of like crustaceans on rocks, so I thought this would be really fun for like a marine type of card. Just your plain old rubbing alcohol, and I think you could actually probably do this with regular ink as well. The alcohol makes ink and paint do funny things. I'd watched another tutorial by Kelly Donovan, and she used acrylic paint with some alcohol ink, and it looked really cool. And she's totally gonna like flip her lid when she heard me say her name on there, because she gets a kick out of that. Oh boy, alright, so that's that. I'm gonna let that dry. I'm gonna grab a background. I'm gonna cap up my inks because they will dry out, so make sure you do cap your inks back up. And we're gonna do a little stamping on right on an alcohol ink background. Because why not? I don't have a plan. I don't have anything to do today. I should be doing some housework, but oh well. Or maybe I'll use this one. I'm trying to decide. This one has the metallic on it. And this one is kind of lame. I did this with my homemade alcohol inks that really was... I tried one more time. I have got to say, homemade alcohol ink is for the birds. I have tried so many different recipes and never came up with anything. I say buy the real deal. That's what place to spend your money is... the real alcohol ink. So what do I want to do? You know what? I think I might use this one just because this one's very precious. I like this one a lot and I think I want to save that. So I'm going to stamp on this one. I'm going to use another great stamp from About Art Accents. www.artneco.com if you're looking for them. And this is a junk boat. I don't know why they call them a junk boat. Anybody know? Please enlighten me. I have no idea. And this will probably be part of my giveaway as well on my blog if you want to check it out. Link is below the video. thefrugalcrafter.wordpress.com. And oh, let's see. Why don't we put this guy down? I want him tipping like he's... Woo! It's a stormy sea here in Junk Boat Land. Alrighty. Look at that. I think maybe I should emboss that. I'm thinking that ink is not going to dry very well. Hold on a moment. I'm going to grab my black embossing powder. Hopefully the ink is still wet. Took me a minute to find this. It looks still wet though. And this, I don't even know what brand this is. It's a generic embossing powder. Not that it really matters. They're all pretty much the same. You know, you get the chunky stuff for the, you know, pouring, and you get the fine stuff for the detail. And try to pour that right back in the container. Maybe I'll be successful. Oh, not too bad. Actually, I think that's going to emboss pretty well. So let's emboss that. Let's, do you need to see that? Do you want to see that? I don't know. Well, I'll just let it roll. You can fast forward if you don't want to see it, I suppose. Oh, I have no plan. No plan today. Hopefully I won't melt my paper. I just want to watch it, and when I see that the powder's melted, I move on. I think I want to try maybe drawing some waves with some gelato, so I'll have to go grab those in a second. I love that this camera has a pause feature because that way you don't have to wait around while I'm looking for stuff. Oh, I think that's pretty good. Put that in the middle. There, now I don't have to worry about that smearing because the I don't think that ink was going to take a while to dry. Alright, so I'm looking at it right side up. I just want to make sure that I'm all painted there. And some of that metallic, I think, is actually kind of come up through the ink, but that's not a big deal. Alright, let me go grab my gelatos and we'll do a little freehand drawing here. Okay, I'm seriously tempting fate. I've got my cup of tea over here. I've got an open pot of embossing powder, and I had an open ink pad. I am just like asking for trouble here. I'm just going to grab a permanent marker, and that was kind of bugging me, so I'm just going to color over that little area there where I was seeing the embossing, the metallic show through, but so I don't end up with a weird black hole, I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow while I'm at it, because I want to make it look like I meant to do that. I meant to do it, see? Alright, now I'm going to use these gel sticks. Are any of these actual gelatos? This silver one's an actual gelato. Fancy. Wicked fancy. And I'm going to see, I don't know if, oh, you know what? I don't think this is going to stick. This isn't going to stick on here, is it? Well, look at that. You learn something new every day. So maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll use a paintbrush and, yeah, let me wipe that gelato right off. Gonna wash that gelato right off of my paper. Alright, yeah, why don't we do something else, shall we? That didn't work. So, what I think I'll do is I'll just make some waves with the tip of my alcohol ink bottle. That looks kind of cool. And I'll do the same with the blue. I'm I'm not gonna make you watch while I go and grab another product, because yeah, you could use your markers, absolutely. You could use your Copics or your Pro markers or your Sharpies or whatever. Totally. And oh, I wish I had a fan brush right here, because that would be awesome. Let's see, what do I have over here? I'm afraid whatever I use though with this, I'm not gonna be able to wash. So, oh, I don't want to use anything too good. You know what? I do have a pot of water. I'm gonna use this. This is like a Chinese brush. I'm just gonna use it to wisp. Look, I'm getting that right on my mat too. I'm just gonna use that to wisp the ink, and I'm gonna stick it right in my water when I'm done. It might stain. I think it will stain, but I don't think it will do anything too horrendous to my brush. I'm not gonna risk it on one of my nice watercolor brushes though. Oh, there we go. We've got our little boat in the rough waters. Now I kind of want my metallic. Now I think the metallic would look really cool. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna go get my metallic ink. Hang on a minute. I'm so changeable, to quote Moriarty, right? Alright, so here's my metallic. I'll give it a few little drops there, and I'm gonna drag it along with this. And, you know, there we have it. I really don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'll probably just stick it on a card. I have this pretty ribbon that I think would look kind of nice with it. It's this laser cut ribbon from Paper Mart, which is kind of pretty. But there you go. There's 2 stamping techniques. Oh, I did want to show you, now that this is dry, I did want to wipe off some of that ink and show you how that looked. If anybody is still out there watching, because I feel like this video was kind of a random stream of consciousness craft fail, I don't know. I'm happy with my little things that I'm making, but it's just kind of random, you know? I just feel like I didn't really have much of a point when I started this video, and it's painfully obvious. But, you know, I will finish up these cards probably and show them on my blog when I have the giveaway. So it's hard to kind of see because those little glossy. There's my little junk boat. And there is my I just love that little jellyfish. So there you have it, some new fun techniques with glossy paper for you. Please check out my blog if you want to win the stamps that I used today. And link is below the video. Please thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss another crafty video. And thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting!